Hello, folks. This is Steve Barrios, partner in Viridian Energy, signing in here from beautiful Hillsborough, New Jersey. Actually, rainy Hillsborough, New Jersey. It's been raining all day if you live here in New Jersey. I think most of the Northeast, too. Hey, but welcome to our team call. We do this call every Wednesday night at 9 o'clock. We went to a webinar format, which people have really been enjoying. You know, pictures are 1,000 words, and you're doing more just little coaching counseling sessions, you know, and guiding people through the process. And really, part of this game is being a good coach, being a good leader, being a good trainer, and then having that process duplicated. You know, there's all type of these calls throughout the week. You know, on Monday it starts off rock and roll with one of the best, the Bob Q call on Monday. Tuesday, Thursday, the Cup of Joe O call. This is on Wednesday night. There's a handful of Sunday night calls. And listen, if you can't get to this call live, which some people didn't because they're watching the Mets games, and let's go Mets. I'm a diehard Met fan, but I definitely being committed to this call, so I had to slide out a quick half hour for this call and kind of go from there. But they could always listen to the replay, and there's replays to all calls, which is really nice. Just want to highlight real quick in the beginning of the meeting here. And there's meetings in all our markets all over the country, you know, so look in your back office calendar. And if you want me to highlight a meeting on this call, just text me or email me, let me know. But every Monday night in Peabody, Massachusetts, Dave Fernandes has his meeting at the Red's Kitchen. Alex, and he's the director, Dave Fernandes from Massachusetts. Alex Ramali, partner in Viridian from Massachusetts as well. Every Wednesday night has his meeting at the Hilton Garden near the airport in Massachusetts. Every other week we do a South Plainfield, New Jersey meeting here in New Jersey. It's every other Thursday, so we'll have one next Thursday with myself and a handful of other leaders in the state, which is good stuff. And listen, you know, you got to remember there's two parts of this business, you know, two systems, so to say. One of the systems is number one, you know, what do? We show the program and we get customers, and we kind of teach other people to do the same thing, right? Over and over again, and we duplicate that process, right? But then number two, the other part of the system, so that's system one and system two, you know, is about staying plugged in, and that's a big part of the success of the top leaders in this company, and all of us on this call, quite honestly. And what do we mean by staying plugged in? Well, listen, if you're on this call right now, you're plugged in, which is cool. You always learn something new. It's inspiring. It keeps you in the game, helps you visualize through those tough times. We always talk about disciplining and disappointment. This helps you do that, right? And you know, get on the calls, and if you can't get on the call live, you know, listen to it in the car, and it's really good stuff. It's not just good for Viridian, but it's good for life in general. Number two, you got to make a meeting once a week. You know, be committed to that. Bring somebody to a meeting as, you know, second or third exposure, whatever the case may be. If you want to be a first, that's fine as well. But definitely be committed to. And listen, if you don't have anyone to bring, that's okay. Bring yourself. That's the most important person. So bring somebody to a meeting. So there's another commitment. You know, and then also, what are you listening to and what are you reading? You know, that's the name of the game. Personal development. So become a better you, and we'll teach other people to become a better them. And you know, and that's, you know, you want success. You have to help other people become successful, you know, and you know, life is interesting. Donald Trump talks about this, you know, what is success? He says I read this a couple weeks ago, it's a combination of timing and momentum, and I think there's no better time to either A, jump into this business full force, head first, whatever you want to call it, or B, get re-engaged, or C, kick your business up a notch, because the timing couldn't be better, and there is some huge momentum going on. So, but anyway, is my partner in crime on the phone, Director Dave Fernandes, Massachusetts?
I'm here, sir.
Hey, buddy, do you want to share a few nuggets? And I know you went to a meeting on this past Friday in, I think, Rhode Island or Massachusetts or whatever, or Marty Hale. You want to just share a few words, and then we'll get on to our subject of the night?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for having me on this call every week. I appreciate it. Thank you, and everybody else, thanks you for hosting this call. We went to the meeting Friday with Marty Hale, and he was talking about, you know, how to really get your people engaged in starting this business, and talked about how network marketing and direct selling, because everybody thinks it's the same, And essentially, it's not the same. Because we're in network marketing, they're direct selling. They're selling direct to people. We're essentially, asking people to help us. That's where he was going with that, and building your business, where we'll go over the list thing. And the way we were always taught was to write, so many names down on a piece of paper, and hundreds of names, and some people would get overwhelmed with that. But with the new program, with the Revolutions, it's a sweet thing for us, because you essentially, for your first 28 days, you can make 3 revolutions, right? The fast track. And he was teaching us on Friday to go get your first 5 points, okay? So sign up your own meter. Your website counts as 2 meters, and then you go ask for help for your family on getting those extra 2 meters. That's your first revolution. And then get your cell phone and write a list of 10 people only, and set up an appointment to sit down with them and show them the program. And then at the end of the program, right, you have either A, you're going to become an associate, or B, you're going to become a customer. And when you do that, and people that don't want to join the business, they're going to sign up as a customer, and most of them will, because they're not going to do the business with you, but they'll sign their meter up with you, and that's how you're going to get your second revolution. And then you do the same exact thing for your third revolution. So from the PowerPoint presentations or the STPs, whatever you do, you're going to get customers from that. And that, I love that when I heard that on Friday, and I wanted to share that real quick with the team. And that's all. I'm going to start building my team and, people that join my business, because it's a lot easier. It's not overwhelming for people that get into the business that have, fast track of 28 days for getting customers and building a V team, right? So essentially, you want to get your first 5 points and go out and try to get your 3 associates, and from that, you're going to automatically get your customers from that.
I love it, man. I love it. You know what, Dave? That's a good segue, because putting your list together is almost like your business plan, right? And I have on here, you said step 2, make a list. Think about the closest to you, your mom, your best friend, your neighbors, kind of like what you were just talking about. And if you draw a blank, if you can't get to those 10 based off your people closest to you, scan your cell phone to help get, like Dave was just saying, to 10 people on that list, which is nice. And for some odd reason, if that doesn't work, most of us are part of social media. Maybe tap into some of your folks on Facebook. So we have some options there to help you get to that. And that was a really good nugget. And it's Marty had also shared, because I had went to the Manalapan meeting the week before, and he shared that same exact system, right? So it's interesting, right? So he keeps saying the same thing over and over again, right? It's a business of duplication, leverage and duplication. That's exactly what he's doing, and he's teaching us duplication. And what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to go right into this. Let me just give me 1 second. Okay, there you go. I'm going to go right into it. I'm going to go to the Viridian University, and then go under, bear with me, building your business. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Sorry about that. Oh, sorry about that. And then also, who do you know, right? So I'm going to click who do you know.
Welcome to step number 3, who do you know? My name is Ralph Malik, Platinum Partner with Viridian. I joined this company because I wanted to buy back the time that was lost to me and my family with financial independence going forward. Since I came here, I've learned that if you follow the plan faithfully, your hard work over a few years will give you the greatest rewards. So here you are getting started. You've begun to think about who your customers are going to be, who you want to be in business as an independent associate. It's time to start building an organization. And what will guide you is the list of people that you know. It's a critical piece of your business, and one that will be the greatest asset, which is why you need to actually write it down. There's something that happens when an idea goes from your head to your hand to a pen and a paper. It creates a living document for you to build on. It's an inventory, so to speak. If you don't have a list, you're not in business. It should be kept current and growing all the time. If it isn't, then you aren't talking to people. And there's one thing I can tell you. This is a numbers game. It's all about people. Initially, when you start putting a list together, don't think about trying to organize it. There's a couple of ways to do it. You can think, for example, 5 major categories: friends and family, professionals that you do business with or work with, neighbors, past or present, sports or hobby connections, and social contacts like ex-schoolmates or clubs you belong to. Another exercise you can do is Who Do You Know?, the worksheet in your duplicate manual that comes in your resource kit. In that exercise, you use the memory jogger tool that is an alphabetical system starting with aunts, best friends, cousins, dry cleaners, engineers, etc. Your goal is to write down 100 names. Now, you might think, well, I don't know 100 people, but you'll be surprised at yourself. Once you get started, the key is don't prejudge anyone and leave them off. You'll be sorting through them later. Just let it flow. Once you have finished creating your initial list, it's time to finesse it. Your coach can work with you to organize it. One method people like to use, or hybrid of it, is called 5-star rating system. Basically, what you're trying to do is put your prospects into a bucket so you can identify who the most promising leads are. Scan down your list and put check marks or stars next to the names of people you think are entrepreneurial, always full of great ideas and trying new things. Then evaluate if they're successful in life. This isn't about how much money they've made in general. It can be about being good at what they do. As a parent or volunteer or a team manager, put a mark by them. Next are ambitious or motivated. Are they the people that energize you and you like to be near them? They get a star. Now think about their list. Who do they know? In other words, are they well connected? Make them a mark. And finally, do they care about the environment? Sustainability. Would you consider them a responsible citizen? Do they recycle? Once you have done this exercise, you will create a top 10 list and the next 20 prospect lists to work off of. Now, the way that we do it is build an A, B, and C list. A will be the sharpest and most entrepreneurial people that you know. B, people that just fall short of that list that are hardworking, ambitious, and self-motivated. The C list is a customer list. It consists of people that you really don't want to go into business with for one reason or another. You want them as a customer and not as a business partner. A perfect example of this is my over-analytical brother or my 95-year-old grandmother. But regardless of which list building method your team uses, be sure to include your mentor before contacting any of them for coaching and guidance. You get one chance to make a good impression, and your up-team leader or associate that enrolled you can really help you with the odds of succeeding when you role-play. Again, and most importantly, don't prejudge anyone. There's nothing more frustrating than finding out down the road someone that you would have put on your list enrolled with someone else because you had them on a chicken list or thought they were too busy or wouldn't be interested. Now, like I said earlier, you should keep adding to the list. To be a professional network marketer means to be talking to people regularly. It is how you'll become great at what you do. So when you're thinking of the people to keep adding to your list, listen when you're out in the public for key phrases like, I hate my job, I can't remember the last time I took a vacation, I miss my family. They are sharing their why and giving you an opportunity to share a solution to their problem. Be relaxed when you introduce Viridian and remember, you're doing them a favor. Building a list is about building awareness, collecting business cards, circulating in the same places of the business, and cultivating relationships. You'll hear us refer to flipping the cards at events, because that's the only way you come up with the aces. Most of all, keep a copy of your list somewhere safe, like a safe deposit box. It's one of the most, if not the most, important business assets you have. What you really want to remember about the list building process is, when you're ready to take this list and start working with it, it is essential that you involve your coach. You'll learn as you go through this process that you're never alone in this business. And as you start out, one of the best resources is your coach. So, you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. This is what your coach is there for, to mentor you, to help you overcome objections that a prospect might have, and teach you how to answer those questions you may not be comfortable enough to answer at this point. It's a big mistake to start working your list without accessing their experience and guidance. The list is way too important and you want to maximize every single name on it. Each one is a potential contributor to your business. In closing, some people after working their list for a while get discouraged and feel like they've run out of their warm market, or people they're on their first name basis with. But the truth of it is the biggest business builder in your organization is probably somebody you haven't even met yet. If applied correctly, you will never run out of people because you are consistently networking and growing a list. The key is caring enough to observe people carefully and increase your listening skill. There are plenty of verbal clues that people share that will let you know if they are prospects for your new business. Ask questions, and people will provide you with the opening you need to introduce them to the Viridian opportunity.
That was good stuff. Ralph Malik, who's an ambassador in his business, one of the top field leaders. Yeah, I mean, right on point there. And he had, one of the takeaways here, number one, when you create your list, right, make sure you write it down. There's something to be said about when you put the pen to the pad, right? And that's important to do that, Number two, your list should always evolve, right? Because you're always meeting people. And, we talk about this, and Dave and I were just talking about this today. This is a business of building relationships, and building credibility with people. And also, Ralph's right. Also, you got to be a good listener, and a good listener is somebody asks open-ended question and just listen to people. Let's listen to them, because when you listen, that's how you build relationship. You're not always doing all the talking. The other takeaway, let's label this list, right? A, B, and C. It's funny because that's what I do in the corporate world on my key accounts that I go after, my focus, my targets accounts, my KRAs, and things of that nature. I have an A, B, and C list. I do the same exact thing. So why wouldn't I do it in my Viridian business, which I do? So A, that sharp person, maybe that go-getter. B, just kind of falls just short of that. And C, everyone's a customer at the end of the day. And always finesse your list. And I like what he said too. Don't prejudge people. You know what I mean? So kind of share with all, and definitely have your chicken list on there. Dave, you want to add any pointers to building your list, bud?
No, that's pretty much we went over on building a list, and some people we're talking how to build a list, and you watch the video and whatnot. So you're going to critique your own way of doing things and find the better way how to create your list, how to contact them, and use that. But use this as an example, and do that, because this is what everybody does in all network marketing companies. There has to be a list. There has to be, you writing it down and making sure you calling them, because if you just write it down and don't make the effort of calling people or setting up appointments, it's never going to work.
Yeah. Hey, Dave, you've been in network marketing for quite some time. You know what I mean? I think what 3 or 4 times the amount of time I have, and what's the importance really? And I know you've been through a few of these, that instead of just just going through a cell phone, you know what I mean, like your list there, but when you really like write those names down, what does that do for that person? Why is that so powerful?
It's just the mindset of writing things down. It's very powerful in anything, right? When you write something down, or why do most women are better at this, but why do women get a calendar and write things down? Because when you write it down, you're not going to forget about it. It's very powerful for your mind to see it on a piece of paper and write it down, because it's not just a thought in your mind, but when you write it down, it becomes an action, right? So when you write it down, it's an action that you're taking to, do that. That's why you do it on the calendar. You write things on the calendar. I have an appointment at 3 o'clock. You write it on the calendar, and, some people use their cell phone and we have cell phones now. You can get the calendar, write it in the calendar, and have an alert, which is going to beep. And you can do it like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours prior to that appointment, which is a lot better than just writing it down. You can type it in. It's the same exact thing, but writing it down is a lot more powerful, because you're taking action, and it's not just a thought in your mind. You're writing it down.
Right. I like it. Well said. And then can you also use, I know we talked briefly, because I'm just thinking we talked briefly about Donna French's vision board, or, that she had last week. Can you transform that list onto a board and kind of, you know what I'm saying? Give your thoughts on something like that.
So if you guys don't have Donna French on your Facebook, you want to go see, because she posted on some her page and some groups, her vision board, and she has a list of names on there, to-do list, today, her goals, a couple of teammates that she was going to help. It's just why she does that, because it's a vision board. She sees it every single day, right? That's the purpose of it, to have it somewhere where, your room, your office, where you can see it every day, because, wow, I have to help this person build their business. I have to help them, get trained. I have to help them get an associate. They're on their fast track. Something to write it down. She's the best at it that I've seen, because she has a vision board. She writes it down. She has it. She's not only doing it for her to build her team, but you can see that she writes appointments to help her downline, et cetera, which is powerful because the more people you help, the better you're going to be, right? It's going to come back to you for helping other people, which is great.
Right, exactly. And you're right. She is the best at it, and she's sharing it for all of us. So she's paying it forward. You know what I mean? She didn't have to put that out there because she put it out there publicly, not just on her page. You know what I'm saying? So and if I remember correctly, she goes, "I hope this helps out" or something like that. So definitely tap into her. And here, hey, that's the beautiful thing about this business. We learn from cross lines, up line, down lines. Dave's in my down line, Bob DeChero's in my down line, and these guys were, this is my first direct selling network marketing company, whatever you want to call it, that I've ever been in, and I've learned so much from them. And now even Adana French and cross lines I've learned from. So that's the beautiful thing, part of this business, and tap into those folks, listen to those folks, because they're doing it right, and just repeat what they're doing. That's the name of the game. Well, Dave, do you want to? We're gonna do. We'll do next week setting goals because we're almost near 9:30. I want to be sensitive to everyone's time. Do you have any parting words before I do the quote of the night, and then we'll go from there?
No, that's all good. We're good, and everybody have a great night, and go out there and get your points. So we have 9 days left for your revolution. So go out there and get as many points as you can.
Yep, and like Ralph said, if you don't have a list, you don't have a business, and the way we get paid in this business is by getting customers, right? And then we duplicate that process, teach that behavior, and kind of go from there, which is awesome. All right, the quote is
unmuted.
We're going to say excuses will always be there, but opportunities won't. Well, folks, thank you once again. I hope this was helpful. I hope it helped out. Next week we'll have another subject of the night. But thank you so much for your time. Happy Wednesday. Let's go Mets. I'm a diehard Met fan. And have a great evening, all. Have a good night. Thanks for your time.
Good night, guys.